Okay, now we have solving equations, but it's two steps. Let's start with the fact that BIDMAS is something that applies to all calculations. So you've got brackets first, then indices, then division, multiplication, and subtraction. So if I go back to the whole journey idea, so bear that in mind regarding BIDMAS. We'll go back to that later. So just bear in mind this is a journey. I've got x, I'm multiplying by 2, then I'm adding 1. That's my journey, isn't it? Because multiplication happens first. So I've got my times 2, then I've got my add 1, and it's giving me 5. That's my journey. I'm multiplying by 2, adding 1, that's giving me 5. So if my journey looks like this going forward, then I'm multiplying by 2, then I'm adding 1, and that gives me 5. The backwards journey is going to be what? It's going to be minus 1 divided by 2, and that will give me x. So again, the forward journey is times by 2, then I add 1, and that gives me 5. The inverse of the backwards journey, which is what we need to do to get to x, to work out what x is minus 1 instead of plus 1, and divide by 2 instead of plus 2. So now we're going to use the inverse or the backwards journey to solve this. Okay, so first what we're going to do, let's park this over here for now. So first we're going to look at this, the minus 1. So if I minus 1 from both sides, because I need to do it to both sides to keep the balance, 5 minus 1 is 4, and the plus 1 minus 1 cancels out, so that's just basically 0, so we don't need to write it in. What we're left with is the 2x. So I've got 2x equals 4. That's this part of the journey done. Then I've got what? Divide by 2. So divide by 2, divide by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And the times 2 and the divide by 2 cancels out. What am I left with? X. Next question, this one here. We'll take it to a different page just to make it easier. Okay, so here the forwards journey is times by 3, take away 2. The inverse journey, the reverse journey, is going to be opposite of minus 2 is plus 2, and then instead of multiply by 3, divide by 3. So once we've done that, we're interested in the backwards journey. So here, let's look at the first step, which is this one here. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Here, minus 2 plus 2 cancels out, so I've only got 3x left over on that side. And 13 plus 2 is 15. Then the next step, this is done. The next step is divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. That's gone. It's left with 1x. And here, 15 divided by 3 is 5. And just to go back to that method of checking if we've got it right, so if x is 5, let's see if that works. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 take away 2 is 13. So x is 5, that's correct. And again here, if x is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. That works. Bear in mind, the bit that you get marks 1 that you have to show, because it's going to be a 2 marker, 1 mark for the answer, 1 mark for the working out, is this portion. Taking away 1 from both sides, that's 1 mark, and then, so in short, do this bit as a minimum. Show that as you're working out as a minimum. This I would do for the beginning until you get into the grip with the whole idea of solving equations, but that it's not needed later on. Once you know how the inverse process works, you stick to this because that's what gets you the mark. Okay, let's now do this question here. So here, the process going forward is, I'm going to remove all these distractions out of the way. So here, the process going forward is I'm dividing by 2. dividing by 2, then I'm adding 2. So I'm going to have divide by 2, add 2, and that gets me to 3. So going backwards is going to be take away 2, then times by 2. And that will get me to x. So now I'm interested in the inverse journey only. Let's park that over here. So first I want to take away 2. So take away 2, take away 2. So 3 take away 2 is 1, and this cancels out. So I'm left with x over 2. That's that bit done. The next bit is to multiply both sides by 2. So multiply by 2, that's gone. Multiply by 2, 2 times 1 is 2. What am I left with? X equals 2. And again, I can check if that's worked because we can put 2 back into the equation. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that works. Right, next question, or the last question for this sort of level of solving equations. Let's bring that here. Okay, so the journey, x, I am dividing by 3, then I'm taking away 1, and that gets me to 5. The inverse journey is going to be add 1, and then multiply by 3, because that's the opposite of dividing by 3. Okay, so first step is this one here, and remember we need the inverse journey right now, because that's how you get from 5 to your answer to solving x. So 5 plus 1, so add 1 to both sides, add 1 to both sides, so that's going to be, that's gone, cancels out, 5 plus 1 is 6. Then I've got multiply by 3, so, and this is x over 3 equals to 6. So now I'm going to do the second step, so multiply both sides by 3. So that cancels out. I've got x, and 6 times 3 is 18. And to check if this works, so 18, plug it here, 18 divided by 3 is 16, 16 take away 1 is 5. That's it. If you have any questions, just comment. And it is that straightforward. Maybe you need to watch the video a few times and do a bit of practice. Once you've understood and once you watch the video and understood it, don't think of it as, okay, I watched that video once and that's it. Do some practice, and that'll help it sink in better.